ladies and gentlemen, my very first guest for the day on this episode of Insights. We are talking about utility jobs. For a lot of people, they just say, I don't want a utility role. I'm too good to clean rooms. But Donna, let's talk about how you got a utility role. In fact, no, maybe we'll save that till the end. But let's talk about what does a typical day as a FIFO utility look like? How hard was it for you to get your job? Start wherever you think.
Okay, all right. So how hard was it to get my job? So originally I was applying for about 3 months and was getting nowhere. So getting those lovely little messages back saying thank you, but no thank you. And I was getting pretty frustrated with it because I've got a wealth of knowledge, great background in admin and in just about everything. So getting very, very frustrated. So I reached out to Alana, as you do. And the team there wrote my resume, and once I got my resume, I sent it out, and within 2 days I got 2 interviews, which led to 2 medicals, which I passed both of those, and then I got to choose which company I went with. So it was that quick in getting the job. It took a little while after that to actually get to site. There's I went to FMG, so there was mine site inductions to do. There was the company I was working with, there was inductions to do for that. And then of course, you got to think of the swing that you go on. So I was going on to a 2-in-1 swing, and they never start you right in the middle. So they wait until the end of the swing before they start. So it probably took maybe about 5 weeks after that to actually get to site. So that was the start of it. And I went in as utilities because even though I've got a huge background in admin, I've got ex-military, so I've got a lot of stuff going on, ex-property manager, admin it wasn't a go to go in admin. So I thought, you know what, I'll go the back door.
Why not?
Yeah.
Use a 2-step plan. And so you said, how long were you applying for before you actually got the job?
About 3 months.
Yeah, and that's actually a short period of time. Like, we get people come to us, they've been applying for like 2-3 years, and it's just like, you know what? If you had a perfect plan, then boom, you're like in like Lynn. Let's talk about what licenses and qualifications did you need to actually get the job?
Manual driver's license is a must. And although when I was on site, I didn't drive a manual vehicle at all, the chances that you might have to are still there. So that's what they asked for. So that's what they got. So manual driver's license, first aid. I have my RSA and my, what's the other one? The approved managers. So I can manage a bar and I can work on the bar. Food safety, I did that one, and first aid.
There you go. And so bang, as soon as you've got all that, you're good to go. How did you find your very first time up on site, like even day? What was that like? Even going to the airport,
Pretty confronting. You get to the airport, there's hundreds of people all in their high vis, don't know where to go, standing there like you are a newbie.
Yeah.
And then get to site, and then there's more inductions, talking to people, you get assigned your rooms, but there's just so much going on. It was kind of a little bit of a blur, but once you get up there and then you get your room, I think we worked on the first day, so because of course you go up in your sexy high vis.
Yeah, so you stand out for other employees to be able to actually go, hey, I can see you working for the same company, come with me.
Yeah. Had to, once you got off the plane, and I went to Port Hedland, and then you got to try and find the bus. I know that one of the other newbies got on the wrong bus and ended up at the wrong site. So, paying attention to the instructions that you're given, highly recommended.
Oh, 100%. And Donna, tell us about the money, right? A lot of people go, the money for a utility role is just so bad, it's not even worth me doing it. So tell us about that for your first role.
Yeah, so I had the choice of going with 2 companies. And they both started, one was an 86,000 and the other one was slightly more. But I went with the one that, I did some research and, asked people, and they all said that one company was better than the other. So that's the one I went for. Yes, it was slightly less, probably only about 2,000, but it was still, I think it was the right decision with the company that I went with. Yeah.
Yeah, and give us the salary price ranges. So obviously they were slightly different, but for somebody who is contemplating getting their foot in the door as a utility, what sort of money would you say that they're walking into?
Well, 86,000 was what I started on, and that's what I was first offered. But I have seen since then there's roles that are going for like 103. So I would say anything from 86 to 103.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. So it really just depends on the site, the roster, even what state you're in. Like makes such a big difference. So Wills has said, yeah, but I think I need to get more tickets. What tickets have you got, Wills? Like that's extremely important. By the way, thank you for pin our email address. It's actually in the first bit when you log into this, but our moderator has put our email address everywhere. Riz, do you know how to pin the email address? That might be beyond my pay grade. But yeah, we've got a moderator. Yes, Kat has asked, can we help couples to get on site? Partners a welder, and I'm hoping to do machine operating. Donna, let's get into this one because since Donna actually went FIFO, Donna now is our number one consultant on our win-win team because she thought, FIFO is not right for me. And then I basically poached her. So Donna, tell us about, let's answer that question for Kat there. How do we work with couples to help get them on site? What's the strategy that we use there?
So Kat, a career consult will be probably the best thing to start with because we need to look at which out of you has got the more employable experience, I would say. So, one of you it might be easier for one of you to get in first and then the other one to follow. So what we recommend is that you work out which one of you is going to be more hireable, put every effort into them getting in, and when they get in or when you're at your interview process, you can always say, hey, this is my partner's resume, this is what they do, we're looking at getting in together. So that's one thing. And then the other one is to actually, once one of you is at site, then you can start talking to people, like start talking to the village manager or assistant village manager or anybody that's there and say, hey, my partner wants to come up, this is what they want to do. And it's kind of doing it that way. The other thing to remember too is that normally for entry levels, you're looking at a 2-in-1 roster. So even if you can't get on the same site, getting on the same roster is probably just as good because then you're working your 2 weeks and then you've got your 1 week where you're both off at the same time. So, because really when you think about it, after a 12-hour shift, after you've, done everything that you need to, you're pretty pooped. So, go back to your room, have a good rest, and then rinse and repeat.
Basically. All right, cool. And we've got Wills here who's saying that he's got working at heights, confined space, gas test atmosphere, forklift, but was thinking about getting his dump truck tickets and EWP. What is your best advice for somebody who has that many licenses and qualifications? What job opportunities, and would you recommend people getting there? What would you say for Wills who's thinking about getting all these tickets under the sun?
Look, it's great that you want to improve yourself, Will, absolutely. But I think, again, a career consult will actually give you a
clear path.
Clear path, thank you. A clear path on what it is that you need. And it depends what you want to do. So entry level, you're looking at trade assistant and a nipper, which is basically a trade assistant but underground. And that's all you need. Your confined spaces, working from heights, gas test atmosphere, maybe your first aid, because if you get underground, then they like everyone to have their first aid. Obviously, you're in a confined space, so the more you can help out with each other, the better. But a dump truck means you're restricted to a dump truck. So if I was going for any driving license, it would probably be an HR. Because it's more flexible. And then if you've got that, then you can start looking at a driller's offsider or a serviceman.
Yeah,
service
honestly.
person.
Yeah. I think I agree, Donna, that one of the biggest mistakes that we always see, and if you're just joining us, this is Donna. Donna went from working as a utility to me poaching her, and now she is one of our top consultants who assist people create a plan so that they can actually achieve their FIFO job. One of the biggest mistakes we see all the time is candidates go, oh, I'm just going to go off and get every single mining ticket under the sun. It's like, great, but what job do you want? And then here's targeted tickets that you should get depending on what job that you want. These tickets, they cost a lot of money. So if you're going out there and just dropping money on every ticket under the sun, you don't have a really specific plan. Thank you, Helen. And then what you want to do is just basically like streamline your way in. The market at the moment is extremely tight, isn't it, Donna?
Yeah, extremely tight, but not undoable. Undoable? Yeah. Not undoable. Gosh, English is supposed to be my first language today. Oh.
Yeah. So Wills has just said, I'm looking to get a TA role or labourer for a start. 100%. Wills, right now you actually meet the criteria to get a TA role. So where are you located? Because that's going to play a big part. Hey, Donna, some people, especially the main jobs in Australia are flying out of Perth or regional areas like Singleton, Muswellbrook in New South Wales or in Queensland. So it really depends on where you're located. Drop that in below, and we'll just let you know. Gabriella Jade has just said, I just want to do FIFO with my partner. I don't blame you, Donna. What are your thoughts on that one?
Again, it's all about finding out who's going to get employed first. Have a clear, like you've already got a clear goal that you want to work together, but really you need to find out who's going to get employed first, and then work from that once they're in. That's the best option. Yep,
absolutely. And no, we don't do sponsored jobs, but yes, don't get any other tickets apart from the HR. If you are going to get that opens up so many doors. And just like what Donna was saying, right? The dump truck ticket allows you to drive dump trucks, but not every single company is actually requesting those. The HR driver's license allows you to drive dump trucks and a ton of other trucks as well. So that is the way better option if you're looking at doing that. And if you want, we actually have in our Career Accelerator Guide, one of our companies in WA is actually a truck driving company, and you can get a discount if you use our affiliate code to get that. And if you want to streamline your way in, book in for a consult with Donna. She is the best in the business because she's actually done it. That can basically probably save you a couple of $100 straight off the mark right then. Thanks for the likes and all that sort of stuff, guys, sharing the live. If you haven't done it already, make sure you're following Donna. She's going to start pumping out a lot more content FIFO-based. Hey, Donna.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Okay, we've got Michael who said, I'm a Ghanaian soldier retired officer. What is your best advice for Michael there?
Oh, Michael, what do you want to do? Like, I mean, I'm ex-military myself, so I know once you get out, you kind of like look around and you go, this is Civvy Street, what do I want to do? So we've got some really good information in our Career Guidance Accelerator. So if you do a consult with us, we can send that to you, and then you can have a look at the different jobs, a day in the life of, it's got links there for doing some extra, your white card, all of that sort of stuff. It's a wealth of information. So I would recommend booking in, have a chat to us so, we can pinpoint what it is you want to do. Have a look at your resume too, because, it's hard to sort of tell what it is that you're experienced in.
Yeah, we're kind of going off blind here, but if anyone's worked in the Defence Force, the Army, the Navy, anything like that, farming, companies love you guys because obviously you're hardworking and you've been away for long periods of time, which is exactly relevant to the mining industry. So Kat's just come back. Can my partner get into a welding role right away, or would he need to be an operator first? God, yes. Welders are so highly sought after. Boilermaker welders, they pay ridiculously good money. The question is, though, Kat, where are you located? That's going to be the key factor. Just drop that below and we'll just go from there. Lammy, okay, that's not who I think it is. Is it true that you have to live in Perth to get Perth FIFO jobs? Yes, you do. So, and it really just depends as well. Like if you are trying to get an entry-level job and you're in, let's say, Melbourne, and you're trying to get an entry-level job in Perth, Donna, why is that just pretty much not going to happen?
I hate even having to tell people this, but the roles for utility and out of Victoria are minimal.
Zero.
Yeah. I try to be nice when I have the consults because, I really appreciate the people that are, they want to do this. This is what they want to do, and they're really keen on doing it. And then you've got to say, well, have you thought about relocating?
Yeah, see, that's why I'm blunt, and I've got really nice staff who say, "Oh," and I'm like, "No, you can't do it."
Queensland's, we've seen an increase in jobs in Queensland, so Queensland's an option. WA, obviously, like 8 out of 10 jobs are here in WA, so you've got a better chance. But again, you have to make that decision. Do you want to relocate? But it's definitely doable, And
100%.
WA is lovely.
Absolutely. WA is awesome. Why wouldn't you want to be here? I mean, today it's not even raining. How good is that? Unlike the cyclone bomb or whatever's going on in New South Wales. Okay, let's keep going through these questions. Tellbell86. I spent 5 years as a utility in Queensland, home now with children and keen to get back in. If you've got any previous FIFO experience, even though it was 5 years ago, Donna, what would you recommend that Tellbell do to get back in?
Career consult. And also look at your resume. If it's been 5 years since you have been in the industry, then your resume is probably not going to be applicant tracking friendly. And this hasn't been around for long, but it's pretty ruthless. So it doesn't just look at how your resume set out. It looks for keywords. It looks for no photos, all that sort of stuff. So have a chat with us. We can have a look at your resume and tell you what needs fixing in it, pretty much.
Sometimes when you've been out of the industry, raising kids as well, it's a really strategic way that you can get back in, because you might have done other volunteer work, or there would be potentially other things that we could draw from that would be key selling points to get your foot back in the door as quickly as possible. So it just depends. In our career consultation division, which Donna is a part of, that's where we have a chat to you and go, let us have a look at all your stuff. What are your goals? How much money do you want to earn? Here are some career pathways. Here's what you're going to need. Here's discounts if you need it. And here's a direct plan of what you can do. Wills is in WA. If you're in WA or Queensland, those are the two places to be across Australia. And why would you say that is, Donna?
Because, well, you just need to look on Seek. You put in FIFO into Seek and you'll see that 80% of the jobs are here. And then that means it's only like 20% that is for the rest of the country. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. I'm just like, hello to people who are like, hi. So yeah. Thanks for joining the live, guys. I've got Donna here, who went from working as a utility in the mining industry, who's now one of our top consultants in Win-Win to help people to achieve their goals. If you've got any questions, drop them in the chat. And thanks, Shane. And Donna and I will be answering them for you. Do you always have chef jobs available? Island chef, B-boy. Okay, at the moment, we don't have any chef jobs available, but where are you located? Because your profile says UK, I think. I can't tell what other flag that is. But, yeah, look, chef jobs, they are so highly sought after within the industry, because every single camp that has people fly up there needs to have chefs and utilities to look after you guys. So it's 100%, yeah, chef jobs are easy to get. You don't need your Cert 4 in commercial cookery. What else do you need, Donna, to get a chef role?
White card, police clearance. Well, if you've already got your Cert 4, then you'll have your safe food handling, so you don't need that. Sometimes they ask for experience, but really when you're looking at the jobs that are listed in Seek, always look at the whole of the the whole of the ad, and it will have criteria in there, and it will tell you exactly what you need. And if you don't have some of that, don't apply, but then perhaps look at adding that to your resume.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what, even if you can't, let's say if you come from overseas, there are a lot of companies like Sodexo, Catercare, Compass Group that will look at overseas chefs to get them on, because chefs are highly sought after. And they pay pretty well, although they really do deserve it, because they're working over the course of 14, 16 hours sometimes. So it's pretty hardcore. So Devilish has said, I have an HR and moving to Perth in August. Great. What job do you want? Let us know. Give us as much details in these questions or instead of statements, so we can actually respond properly. All right, let's go. Can you see any of these questions here, Donna, that you want to
Going
answer?
pretty fast, so by the time I'm reading them, they're already disappearing. So, do you need to have an Aussie address to work FIFO? You need to be in Australia for a start off, and that's Melzi. You need to be here. There's a couple of courses that a couple of tickets that you need to get that you can't get outside of Australia. So we're talking police clearance, white card, and changing your driver's license over to a Australian one. So those three you can't do outside of Australia.
Yeah, you also need a tax file number. You can do that from overseas, but you need to be here. You need a bank account. You need a SIM card. You need all these little things. So most employers, if you have one that you're applying from another country, it depends on what the job's. And if you're an HD fitter applying from New Zealand, that might be the exception to the rule. But most of them, you'd have to be looking at the job ad and see where the point of hire is. If the point of hire is Perth, Western Australia, and you're trying to apply from Melbourne, you're going to get immediately no deal in the company's applicant tracking system. So it comes down to actually doing a bit of research and setting yourself up from the start properly so that you're not going to just be applying and getting nowhere fast. Okay.
That can be really disheartening, and it was for me when I was applying, 3 months of applying and not getting anything, and it can be disheartening. So rather than that, let's, hit the ground running, have everything in place, all your the tickets that you need, your resume updated, where, at the point of hire, and then, it'll all be great from there.
Yeah, to have a solid plan. This is what we see. People try to, and one of the worst parts when you're applying for jobs, especially in the mining industry, is all mining and recruitment companies use applicant tracking systems, and they give you those nice little automated rejection letters saying, oh yeah, sorry, or emails saying, yeah, you're such an amazing candidate, blah blah blah. But unfortunately, on this occasion, you've been unsuccessful. They are never going to tell you why you're unsuccessful or what you can do about it. That's where we, in our consultation division, kick that off so we can actually tell you, and so that you can be successful without just applying for jobs and not knowing where you're going wrong. So, yeah. Okay, right. Apart from mining jobs, this is Amiga Trooper 83. Apart from mining jobs, what other jobs do you help people with, i.e. civil construction?
Absolutely.
Everything.
Absolutely. Everything. You name it, we can help you.
Yeah, and this is no matter where you are. I've worked with myself. I've worked for a guy who was in France and helped him to get a job in Dubai. The process is the same worldwide, which is why we have such a massive international audience. But again, if you're trying to get an Australian mining job, you need to be in Australia. Yes, there are a lot of drainage jobs. Can my partner get FIFO very easily if we live in New Zealand? Stacey, it really depends on what your partner's licenses, qualifications and skill set are. So if he is an HD fitter, then I'll say yes, without a doubt. An auto sparky, yes. Donna, what's another job that we might be open to considering, or employers?
Welder maker, welder, maybe even health and safety, but it depends on what courses you've got, whether or not you have to change those over to work here in Australia. But health and safety is huge in the mining.
Oh, absolutely. Emmanuel said, hello. Okay, I'm a lab chemist with over 12 years experience in the mining industry. Awesome. You should be a shoo-in. Where are you located, and have you been applying right now, and what's been the outcome? If you're in it now, yeah, cool. FIFO chef jobs, we just went over that. There are so many FIFO chef jobs. If you set yourself up properly, you're in the right point of hire, you should not have any issues actually getting a FIFO chef job. But if you do, contact us. And while you're at it, make sure that you're following Donna and myself for content to help get you employed. You're welcome, Michael. And okay, we've got a Brown Magic. I'm a qualified HV cable joiner in New Zealand wanting to move over to Oz. What would be your advice there, Donna?
What is he? An H what, sorry?
HV cable joiner.
Okay, I might have to do some research on that because I'm not even sure what that role is.
Okay.
Cable joiner. Is that like a fabricator where they weld the pipes and that together? Or is it just another name or a New Zealand name for it? I don't know. I've been in Australia too long. I don't know the New Zealand lingo anymore.
It's all good. Brown Magic, yes. Look, with that skill, a question, especially like HV cable joiner, you definitely can get jobs over here. What I would suggest is go and have and this is for anyone. If you want 100% clear clarity and a plan of action, book in for a consult with Donna. She is like one of the best in the business in our team, and she can literally, like, in a couple of minutes, obviously she would be able to have a look at your resume and say, all right, these are job opportunities that exist for you. This is what you need to get it, and happy days. Same with you, Kat. We deal with a lot of people we work with a lot of people who are in Ireland, the UK, like Europe, everywhere, New Zealand. And it's all about having a strategic plan. So you guys are going to need to have obviously the visa and to move, but there are some things that you can actually do right now, especially if he's got a rope access ticket. So I'd be asking as well, I think you said was he the Boilermaker? I can't remember. Or welder. Yeah, welder with rope access ticket or technician. There are a ton of awesome, and rope access technicians, you're working on a lot of the construction projects as well. So that's where the cash is. So I would suggest get in contact with us, book in for a consult. Our email address is all over this live. And if you're not doing it, follow Donna and myself. The email address is everywhere. In fact, I'm just going to drop it in the comments. Donna, can you see any comments whilst I'm multitasking badly?
I'm a civil engineer. I have positive skills assessment in civil engineering. I'm offshore. So that is DBoy212. So are you here in Australia working offshore, or are you wanting to come to Australia? If you could answer that, and that will give us a better idea on what we need to do.
Yeah, definitely. I can't even say that. Yes. Oh, Wills. Yes. WA is quiet and good. 100%. And it's actually like perfect blue sky. Well, not perfect, but nice blue skies as opposed from the horrendous overnight downpour. So yeah, all good. Thank you, Shah Cha. That's Camille, I think. Okay, cool. Oh, Trish. No experience. I'd like to get on the blast crew. Ro, get in contact with us because you're going to need specific licenses and qualifications, potentially your DG ticket. We have an RTO that specialises in dangerous goods ticket, and you can get a discount. So come and have a chat to us, because what job you can get always depends on what job you have been doing. So especially if you're trying to make a career change, a full-on career change, it can be a bit challenging, but it's definitely it's able to be happy. I can't even talk.
I see D-Boy's replied, so he wants to come to Australia. So you're not currently in Australia. Flick us an email with your details in that. We have a designated immigration specialist who will be able to help you and put you on the right track to getting here. Because while we can tell you all the tickets and everything you can do, we can tell you how wonderful it is, without a visa, you can't come to work. So that would be the main priority for you, D-Boy.
Absolutely. Hello, Versatile Design. Hello, Neo is the one. Thank you, Tell Bell. Okay, Melzy, I've been working in butchery as a packer and retail assistant. Awesome. The career pathways that I can see immediately for you would be utility, which is exactly what Donna did. Donna, tell us more about your utility role. So what did an average day look like for you from the moment that you woke up to the moment that you went to sleep at night? And then we'll go back to some of your questions.
Yeah. Okay. So I went in as a mine site cleaner. The company gave me a list of different roles and told me to prioritize them. So I put in mine site cleaner. Then I went for kitchen hand, and then housekeeping. I think that was all that I had to choose from at that time. But I got mine site cleaning, which, yes, I was cleaning toilets. Yes, I was cleaning dirty crib rooms. It was hot and all of that. But with mine site cleaning, you're actually not just based at camp, so you actually get out and about. So I got to drive the LV round site, got to find out all the different roles that are happening on site. And it's quite an eye-opener, because when you think about mining, you think about the big companies, the Rio Tintos, the BHPs and all that. And they don't actually employ a lot of people. They get in contractors. So when people say, oh, I want to get in with one of the big companies, just remember that there are smaller companies that actually help out with the bigger companies. So there's so many different options. And once you're there, then you can find out, like Alana says, who's who in the zoo. My day would be, we started at 4:30 in the morning, so I would crawl out of bed at the latest possible time that I could. So get up, shower, changed, go and have some breakfast. And of course, spoilt for choice, I probably put on a few kilos because I was eating quite a lot. Go to breakfast. Then we had a pre-start. normally at the pre-start, we just talk about the jobs, who was doing what. Health and safety would come in, have a little bit of a chin wag with us to say if there was anything new going on. Take fives, which we had to do every day, and then we would be assigned our vehicles, get all our gear ready, and then we would leave to go to site around about 4:30 in the morning. At Port Hedland, where we were, it's actually not a mine site. It's we've got wharf and we've got rail, so you had trains coming in from one side, ships leaving from the other side. And for the job that I was, we got to do both sides. So you got to drive around a bit, you got to see more. So I actually really enjoyed the job. 12 hours for me, not a problem. The work was hard sometimes, mainly because of the heat and the dirt and the dust, but it was all manageable, and they like the supervisors like to make sure that your fatigue management is covered and you're eating enough and drinking enough and all that sort of stuff. So my last day on swing was in January of this year, and we had to get back in the car. It was 51 degrees in the car. It was so hot. Yeah. It was like you could have fried your egg and your bacon on the bonnet of the car. It was crazy. So
people do
that. So yeah, most of the days were sort of, again, rinse and repeat, get up and do the same thing. They have things on camp that you can do. We had sip and paint one night, and then you've got the gymnasium. So they try and put things on to sort of make it a little bit more homely.
Yeah. What would you say is the hardest part about the job or the lifestyle, I guess?
For me, it was the bed.
Oh.
The first swing, I didn't. The sleeping was a little bit of a problem. So the next time I brought up my own pillow, which made it a little bit better. But I found that, especially going, because we did a week of days and then a week of nights, and adjusting into the nights was always a little bit hard. But that would have been the hardest thing. Yeah, the work itself, good.
Easy.
The people that I worked with was really good as well, and that's really important as well, because you remember you're spending 12 hours a day for 14 days with the same people. You've got to have the right attitude.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a question here about if we join as a utility, is it possible to apply for other positions, say a machine operator? What's your best advice for that?
All right, so this is exactly what I did. So my goal was to get into admin, because I've got a huge admin background, and it's probably one of the hardest roles to apply for if you haven't had any mining experience. So I decided I'll go that way. On my third swing, I went to see the village manager and just said, "Hey, this is my background. This is what I'd like to do. I'd like to get into admin." And they said, "Yep, no problem, got nothing at the moment." The next swing that I went up, someone missed the plane or didn't come up for work. So they called me in, and I did 2 weeks in the office, just filling in. So from there, that's how you get your foot in the door with other roles. Also, you've then got supervisor roles that you can apply for within the role that you're doing, or within other roles under utility. And they are doing, I think most supervisors are doing an 8 and 6 swing, which is much nicer than a 2 and 1. But it is all about, you've got to be prepared to talk to people and to ask questions and just to, keep an open mind.
Definitely. And utility jobs are not the end destination, are they? They're usually people's first foot in the door to any other job. So even if you use it as a 2-step plan, and I'm not saying go up there and 5 seconds later you're trying to get another job, but hey, if that happens, that happens. But that's what a lot of people do. That's how I did it. I got in as a utility a long time ago and then ended up in transport and admin and stuff like that. So a lot of people, Donna, don't you reckon they come to us and the very first thing that they say is, "I will not go up as a utility.
I'm not cleaning toilets."
Yeah. And what's your best advice for those people that you get?
Bite the bullet. Do it. Just do it, and it is not the end goal. And if you look at it like that, you can just, even with any other role you have a look at, if you look at the the description, and it says must have mining experience, must have working away experience. Well, the best way to get it, if you can't get it from that job, is to go into utilities.
Yeah, spot on.
Honestly, it's easy.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no. Yeah, I wanted to say that, but I thought it might have been a bit rough. It's a no-brainer, guys.
Look how nice my staff are. They're so politically correct. I'm like, look, don't be an idiot. Just do it. Okay. Let's go back to some of these questions. Samantha Smith, 5060. In UK, my husband is an excavator operator with 25 years. Oh, where's that gone? Experience. He's 45. How to come to age? I think you mean Australia. Okay, so 1, you're going to need a visa. 2, you're going to need to move without a doubt, right? With the excavator experience, it's going to depend on how big the excavators are, because there's obviously really tiny little 5-tonners, and then there's the big dogs, right? So it just depends. Now, the age potentially is going to be a factor depending on what visa that he can get and his experience and the skills shortage in Australia. So what I'm going to do here, Sam, is I'm going to put our email address. I would suggest book in. Hang on, where has it gone? Book in and have a chat with our migration agent. We have our own internal migration agent, and he can guide hubby on potential visas, or whether it's just a no-deal situation. And unfortunately, even recently, he's had to say no deal to some people because they're past the age limit of being able to get a visa. So there are very strict conditions to get into the country. Well, not that you'd think, but there are in some cases anyway. But yeah, you need to. That's my best advice for you. So same with you, D-Boy. D-Boy 212. Get that email address, book in with our guy, and come have a chat. Same with you, Othendi Kesavan. Sorry, I probably butchered that, but hello, good morning, excavator, machine operator, bulldozer operator. Look, these are definitely jobs that are on the skill shortage list. So again, same for you. Go and find our email address. It's all over every video I've ever done. If you're not doing it, follow my channel and follow Donna's, obviously, for content to answer all these questions. And you can obviously, we'll repost.
Pat is just saying, current mine site cleaner, love the adventures, best way to network. Absolutely right, Patty. Absolutely right. Especially if you don't mind chit-chatting to people. The great way. I've made some really good friends up there, and we are still in contact. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And don't you reckon as well, one of the weird advantages of being getting into the mining industry is you get exposure to people that you never actively would have sought out, but you end up the best mates with them. And it's just what?
People from all around the world, especially I think we had someone from Chile, we had someone from Germany, and just the stories, especially on night shift when it's a little bit quiet and you're sitting there and having a good old giggle with each other and telling stories. It's really good.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Okay. Do we have any companies willing to sponsor for offshore? D-Boy, I think you're the chef asking. Look, there are some, but not that we have. Honestly, to answer that simply, no. I'd say no. We don't, but there are. What I'd suggest doing is going on to seek.com.au and just put the word, I think, if you were the chef, chef/sponsor, and then that will bring up all of the employers that actually do sponsor chefs. And so you're looking at, again, write this down, Sodexo, Cater Care, I think there's Entia something, but yeah, sorry, go on to seek.com. Have a look at that one. All right.
So Pat has said, when I get my HR license, I will be in touch for more advice. Oh, great. And we'd love to help you, Pat. Absolutely love to help you. And I think if I was going back up into the mines, I'd get my HR as well, and then I'd look at a serviceman's role. For me, you're not sitting in one spot. You're going around to different sites, and you're just doing minor maintenance on the vehicles. Make sure there's air in the tyres, pump up the tyres, add blue to the diesel, change a filter or something. But they started around about 130,000, so it's like, yeah. No, if I was going back, but I'm very, very happy with what I'm doing. So, and my budget is good.
By the way, guys, if you haven't done it, follow Donna. She is my number one consultant who has come from the mines, and then I poached her so that she's now giving you guys the correct information. Donna, let's talk about some of the most commonly asked questions or myths that you're getting in the consults at the moment. Like, what are people's main problems? What are they coming to us for at the moment?
A lot of them are waiting to get tickets. So they'll say, oh, I will just want to get all these tickets before I actually start applying. And once we go through the resume and we look at the jobs that they can actually get without those tickets, that kind of puts a little bit of a light in the thing. Oh, okay, I don't need to go and spend another $1,200 on getting my dump truck, because I don't need it, sort of thing. So a lot of questions about the tickets. Some people sort of think that they can come in and just dictate what swing they're going on. So it's a little bit of a truth-telling thing and saying, well, no, sorry, it depends on where you're working, what the contract is, what they require from you. So you can't really dictate. So those are probably the two main ones. Again, the partners, a lot of people coming through and saying, we both want to go together. So we give them that information as well.
Yeah, definitely. And what would you say as well? Like, obviously, every single person who comes in for a consult with us, we give them a copy of our Career Accelerator Guide. Let's go through some of the awesome stuff why it's so beneficial. Even that guide there, like starting with especially the discounts that people are getting on like RTOs and tickets only if they need them. And like seriously, doing the consults, I'm sure you'd agree, we have saved some people thousands, if not just hundreds of dollars, saying, look, you don't actually need the dump truck ticket to get a dump truck role. Am I right?
No, you don't. And I wouldn't say there's plenty of traineeships out there for dump trucks. There's not at the moment. But for a traineeship, you just need your manual driver's license and a willingness to get out there. So, if you've got this far where you're actually having a consult, you're already halfway there.
Yeah, definitely. So getting it over the line is just a case of, all right, you might need a white card in the Career Accelerator Guide, which you get a copy of in the consults. There's a link to it with a discount. We've got the only one RTO in Australia where you can also get an Australia-wide white card as well. So there are a ton of different benefits. There's our exclusive A Day in the Life of series as well to give you guys options about different jobs that exist in the mines. What else is in there that's totally awesome, Donna?
That's probably... Yeah, the links, the hyperlinks, so that you can have a look at the different courses is very, very, gets used quite a lot. A Day in the Life, I think, is really good because I think when people come through for the consult, they actually don't know about some of these jobs. And I say, well, have you looked at a nipper? And they'll go, what's a nipper? So, the Day in the Life really gives you some idea on what it is to be prepared for and what you're looking for. I think do we have the list in there for what to take to site, or is that's in our package, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's in one of the courses. We do have a couple of, how it works is in the consults, we set you up and say, what are your goals? What do you want? And here's a plan that you can achieve it. If you do want one of our packages, some of them, we just load everything in there so that you're going to be successful and you're not going to have to wonder, what do I have to do next? So if you do need a resume, the resume is the absolute gatekeeper. In the consult and in the Career Accelerator Guide, you get a discount on that as well. So there's always the opportunity of using that as well if you wanted to. But yeah, visa. You're going to need visas. Hi, Rob. How are you going? There's Rob, MC operator. Hello, everybody. All right, if you've got any questions, drop them in. All right, Caleb has said.
Lovegrove says, moving to Perth in a few months. When should I book a consult? Where are you coming from, Lovegrove? Are you coming from NZ, or are you coming from, have you got a working holiday visa? What sort of visa have you got? If you're coming in a couple of months, I'd get that consult booked in ASAP, mainly because we can direct you on some of the other things that you can do before you get here. There are things that you can do prior to getting here, and also sorting out. So what I usually say is, like, your first week is like an admin week. So when you hit the ground, you've got any courses that you need to do booked in, you know where you're going to get your license updated, you know what mobile phone network to go for, and unfortunately it's one of the big ones. They're very expensive, but you want to be able to, if you're remote, you want to be able to keep in contact. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. And again, this is all in the Career Accelerator Guide, because it's a step-by-step of, all right, even preparing to go up to site, you're going to need X, Y, and Z. So before you even attempt to get the job, you're going to need like a white card. So here's a link to the white card with a discount. You're going to need, the tax file number. Here, especially if you're overseas, you can get it. Bank account. Just simple things that people don't think about. SIM card, exactly like what you just said, Donna, to be able to speak to your loved ones, and that is a massive thing as well. And we've also got things like mental health lines, because you'd be surprised. FIFO is not for everyone. Hey, Donna, it's pretty hard.
It's a tough gig if you're not sleeping or if something's going on and back home. So you've got to be mentally prepared.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. Looking forward to chatting with you, Patty. All right. Currently MC license, live in Queensland, have applied for so many but never get a look in. Richard, it's probably your resume. Honestly, like most cases, if you are applying for jobs but you meet the criteria of the job and you've checked out that what the criteria is in the job ad, obviously, it's your resume. All mining and recruitment companies use applicant tracking systems, and what these are is they filter everything on your resume. You could have the best experience in the history of the world, but if your resume has like too many graphics, logos, designs, it's 11 pages long, or it just doesn't, it's not formatted for the applicant tracking systems, it gets filtered out. And then you're applying for jobs, you're getting nowhere, and you're like, where am I going wrong? I don't know. Nobody's telling us. That's what we do. We tell you and we say, listen, your resume sucks. It needs to have this.
We tell you politely.
Yeah. Donna tells you politely. I'll just be like, nah, sorry. You don't meet the criteria. The job that you're applying for says that you need X, Y, and Z, which you don't have. And then usually clients go, but we do have it. Oh, okay, well, why isn't it on your resume? All right, we need to do an overhaul. So what I'd suggest is, Richard, get in contact with us. Book in for a chat. In 20 minutes, we'll basically flip that around for you. So this is for anyone. If you've been applying for jobs, you're getting knocked back automatically or within 5 to 10 minutes. What's happening is your resume is going through the applicant tracking system and it's not viable for what the job is that the employer is looking for. And then you get put into their automation of their no deal automation, where they send you the automated, no thank you, good luck, we're not going to tell you where you're going wrong. And that's where a lot of candidates just get completely disheartened going, what do I do? And that's where we tell you exactly what you can do. All right. Okay. What is a white card? I'm from Fiji and I don't know what it is. A white card, Donna. Do you want to explain it?
A white card is it basically allows you to work on civil and mining sites. It's health and safety mostly.
Yeah, it's a construction safety induction. You need it to get onto any construction site. The white card, like I said, in our Career Accelerator Guide, we have the only RTO that can actually give you a white card that is Australia-wide. The rest of them would be specific to Queensland or Victoria or wherever. No worries, Kat, you're welcome. So, yeah, it just depends. How much does it pay for formworks? This is, again, in our consults, we work out, because I don't know where you're trying to apply from. I don't know what licenses and tickets that you have currently. So when people are like, oh, I'm trying to get this job, blah, 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 then it's a bit hard unless we've got some context, how to look at your resume, know where you're living, and what your experience is. So, okay, Steve Uck has asked, so is the manual driver's license the main license that you need to get a job in the mining industry? Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. I have seen people get in with just an automatic. The reason why they ask for manual is that there sometimes can be older vehicles or manual vehicles on site or at the village that you need to drive, and if you don't have your manual license, you can't drive them. It comes down to insurance as well.
Yep, definitely. Guys, as well, if you do want to book in for a career consultation with us, I'm about to drop the email address in there, and over the next week, I will be on these consults with you live as well. So you've got the chance of having a chat with Donna. You could potentially be chatting with me, and so Fatso, sorry, but that's your name on this thing. Definitely. Thanks for that, Steve. Look, if you sent us an email, our team, we've actually got. In fact, Donna's been in our main account. Donna, how many? We have generally 1, 2, or 3 people in our main email account. So, did you actually have the right email address? That's what I'll be asking. So, yeah, I've just dropped the email address.
winwin.com.au. And I'm looking at the inbox at the moment and it's chocker, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Trish is in there right now, no doubt. But yeah, so like if we didn't apply for you, you probably put in the wrong email address, because I can guarantee you there are people in there like Donna and sometimes me and sometimes a couple of other people in that email address all day long. By the end of the day, all of our emails are 100% cleared. So I just dropped the email address in there. If you want to book in for a consult with our team, jump in there. And I think you can actually request who you can book in with. Hey, Donna. But anyway, I'm gonna be jumping into a few of them next week. So definitely, if you would like to speak to myself, Donna, Taylor, or the rest of our team, like book in, come have a chat. 20 minutes, you'll have a like set in stone plan of exactly what you need. Love Grove, moving to Perth. Awesome. Oh yeah, I think you answered that. I don't know. I think there's some sort of delay here going on.
Yeah, I think Love Grove is. I think they said they were coming from New Zealand, but yeah. I missed that. Everything's going a little bit fast for me. What's the weight range for females need to be in order to get a utility role?
There really isn't one. If you're trying
you need to be able to pass a medical. So the medical is everything that you would normally do at a doctor's: blood pressure, eyesight, and then you've got to do the physical stuff. Like get in there and do your. What did I have to do? Oh, those duck walks and squats and stuff like that, lifting things and moving things around. So as long as you can pass a medical, then size shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, definitely. D boy, civil engineering a demand in the mines. Yes. Sophis, sorry if I whatever that butchered that one. Hi, I've got a valid PNG passport already. Can you assist me to get a sponsorship deal for a diesel fitter? Generally not. Do you have the visa? That's the whole thing, right? There are a couple of companies, but we don't deal with any companies that actually sponsor. We deal with people who sort out their visas and get here, and then we literally say, right, okay, here's your plan. Here's what we're going to go for. Here are the different jobs that you have available. Here's what you need. And we hold your hand to make sure you can't mess it up for yourself. That happens a lot. Or that you're not... That's probably a harsh way of putting it. It's more that so that you're going to get in as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 90s has asked the same thing. If you're in Fiji, you have to be here. So you've got to sort out your visa first. And if you want the link to have a chat with Lilash, our migration specialist, send us an email and we can get that to you.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that one? Nick's, what was that? What is someone that got all of it? White card, qualifications, driver's license. Is it can... can you read? Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah.
I don't know what you mean, sorry.
Yeah, Nix, can you rephrase that, please? But yeah, if you've got a white card, qualifications, driver's license, a resume that's applicant tracking system compliant, and you're in somewhere like Perth or Queensland, if you are applying and getting nowhere, contact us. The email address is all throughout this live. It's all throughout every video that I ever do. Come and have a chat with Donna or our team, and then literally within 20 minutes you're going to walk away with a really solid plan of exactly what you need to achieve your goals as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think there's a link in my bio as well. So if you start following me, you can have a look at the link and come in that way. So yeah, we've got you covered. Everything, emails, links.
Andy, this is actually just soda water and lemon juice. I haven't actually drunk alcohol now since Christmas. I've been on a detox. So yeah, it's not a G&T. I don't even like gin. I think it's...
I like G&T, but I'm doing dry July. So this is just the tonic, no gin.
Tonic's got a lot of sugar in it. Anyway, guys, if you're not doing it, make sure you're following myself. Follow Donna for a ton of content to get you employed. In 5 minutes, I've got a second guest coming on. Donna, do you want to stay on, or do you want to... so we can rotate questions? We're talking mainly finance, but yeah, up to you. I know that we've got to...
You're the boss.
Hey?
You're the boss. You call the shots.
Oh, good, whatever. Okay, for a cleaner or a housekeeper, let's do rapid fire. What licenses and qualifications does somebody need, Donna, to get a job as a cleaner or in housekeeping, which is the same thing?
Sorry, I missed all of that. What was that?
What licenses and qualifications does somebody need to get a job as a fly in, fly out cleaner?
Cleaner. White card. Police clearance. Manual driver's license. And then on top of that, just to make yourself a little bit more sellable, you would go for your RSA, and food handling, because then you can work in other areas, so you're not stuck in one spot. Hence the name utility.
Yeah, definitely. And let's break a myth here. A lot of people think that utility jobs are only housekeeping or working in a kitchen. What other jobs fall underneath the utility banner?
Everything that it takes to run a camp. So, where I was in Port Hedland, 900 people. So you've got housekeeping. We had a deep cleaning team. So they would come in and they would just concentrate on cleaning one room. Mine site cleaners, bus drivers, admin, not warehousing, what was I going to say? Maintenance, grounds people, kitchen hands,
logistics, logistics drivers, admin.
Driver.
There are so many jobs that fall under the utility role that people go, they just think housekeeper or cleaner, and they're like, nah. But seriously, it can be one of the best jobs to get your foot in the door. And it's like we always say, it's not the final destination; it's the first rung on the ladder to your mining career. Days has just said done underground course in nipper and maintenance. Also have haul truck license, but nothing. It's your resume, and honestly, the underground course, if it's the one that I'm thinking of, it's I wouldn't say that it's a waste. We have a free underground course, and it basically goes through all the terminologies, all the safety stuff that you need. We have actually we've got anyway. So contact us. It's your resume without a doubt, because look, if you're properly emphasizing your skill set, then even to get a nipper role, or sometimes even the underground truck driving role, like traineeship, you don't even need the haul truck license. And the haul truck license, unless you're going into civil, most of the time you're not even going to need it. So look, that's what I would say. Get in contact with us, Dow's at info@winwin.com.au. Remember, it's a 1 like this behind me, if you can see it, instead of the I. And book in, have a chat with us, and literally within 20 minutes, you'll walk off knowing where you're going wrong and what you can do about it. That's the main thing. All right.
Hakami has asked, is there any Malaysian under your suit? I'm not too sure what you actually mean there. So if you could just reword that, please.
Yep, 90s. Can we apply if we're in Fiji? No. You need to be in Australia to apply for jobs. Thanks for the follow, Precision Drilling. Guys, make sure you're following the channel, mine and Donna's, for more content to help get you employed. Precision Drilling, if you want staff, let us know, because we've got a ton of awesome drillers off-siders and some killer RC operators or drillers at the moment. No visitors visas. Look, we do deal with a couple of candidates on different visas. Most of them are working holiday visas, so we have worked with a ton of candidates on those. So it just really depends. How can I apply from New Zealand PR? How can I process, and how much is the cost for the visa? No idea. You'll have to speak with our migration agent, because I think there's actually going to be a price increase at the moment. This is what he was telling me. So, Glenn, if you have New Zealand PR, though, your situation is going to be extremely, extremely different. Hey, Donna. So anyone who's a New Zealand resident or has PR over there, you're basically classified as an Australian, honestly. So, that's what I will say with that. Right, let me see if my second guest has just joined us.
So India has just said, hi, administration assistant. I talked about this a little bit before, India, that admin is one of the hardest roles to get in. They like their people that are coming in to have had some experience in working away, because they spend a lot of money getting people ready for these roles. And a lot of times admin who are not used to sort of getting out there into the wild, the wilds of up north, they find that it's a little bit overwhelming. The other thing is that administration have a whole stack of different programs that they use, and they like to have the people, their staff, to have used these programs before. So we're talking about INSX, SAP, and Workflow. So if you don't have those, again, come in and look at utilities, and then you can segue yourself into an admin role.
Yep, absolutely.